I'm Heather from Booktubes, and I've been saying that for 5 years. This is my 5-year on Booktube anniversary. Number doesn't really feel real, not gonna lie. It does seem like a lot. But I love making videos. I love being on Booktube. That is, of course, why I'm still here. This has enriched my life so much. Not only the community and the people that have become like my friends, but also just the people that have interacted with my videos, whether you're in my DMs or not. If you're in my DMs, you're in my top 1%, so know that. But if you comment regularly, you're in the top 2%. There are a lot of you that do both, but I just love it. I love making videos, editing, talking about books, finding books, being in community. I really, really love it. It's so much fun. I would love to continue to do this. I hope I don't burn out. This is something genuinely I would like to have as a part of my life for a long time. And it has. It's been part of my life for a long time. It's been 5 years of making videos in this sweatshirt for my Booktube anniversary. So I honestly am just really excited to be here. So I thought 5 years, 5-star predictions, as you already know from the thumbnail and the title of this vlog. But so I have 5-star predictions. This idea I actually got from watching Shay at Shay Geeks Out. She did a video for her 10 years on Booktube talking about her favorite books from Booktube. So really the ideas are not interconnected at all whatsoever. But as well, I was watching that though, I was kind of like, oh yeah, it's gonna be my 5 years. What can I do? And then I was like, 5-star predictions. So yeah, I actually don't have a lot of 5-star predictions. As I'm sure you all know, everything is kind of a 5-star prediction or a D and F prediction. Simultaneously, 50-50 chance. I don't read books that I don't think I'm going to like, but honestly, most books are probably a 4-star prediction and it goes up or down based on that. But yeah, every single book has just as much of a chance of being D and F'd as anything else, probably more so, especially new to me authors. So by and large, most of my 5-star predictions are authors I already know and love. They're my favorite authors. They're a 5-star prediction. Duh. But I wanted to try and mix it up a little bit. So these are all my 5-star prediction possibilities, okay? I don't plan on reading all of them. I don't even know which ones I'm necessarily planning on reading. I know a couple for sure, but there could be some fluctuation here. These are all my possibilities. I was thinking about what books and what types of books I would do a 5-star prediction for, and I realized that a lot of them are anticipated releases. They are books that I'm very excited about, to the point where they're not out yet and I still put them on a Goodreads shelf, but I don't have access to them yet, and so their hype is just kind of living in my mind, waiting for the release date or for me to get an ARC. Another thing that can be a 5-star prediction is my library holds. Again, you're looking at a small percentage of books that might make their way onto my TBR that I would then be interested enough in to put on hold at the library and be anxiously awaiting my hold to arrive. Or they are for do or die. Of course, some of my 5-star predictions are because of the way it was recommended to me, or even more specifically, perhaps who recommended it to me, but the large majority are sequels or favorite authors. And then future me is going to edit in. These are the books that I actually do read in this vlog. I'm sure they're probably in the thumbnail as well, but these are the ones I end up getting to, okay? I don't know what they are. You now do. It just so happens that the week that my channel turns 5, Kristen Ashley has a release, so I know that I'm going to be reading that on release day. I'm honestly just so excited for this vlog. I want to try and do some fun things, do some celebratory things, because again, I'm excited to be here. I'm glad that it is my 5 years on Booktube. I'm glad to have all of you, and I'm looking forward to hopefully having one of the best reading weeks of the entire year. But I guess you'll let me know. So I'm thinking 5 books, 5 stars, 5 years. That's what I'm thinking. But you already know if that's true or not, because I already put in a spoiler slide. But that's the idea. Yeah, I'm really excited. Hey, I was up at 6 o'clock this morning with a sick child because my kids are passing some sort of congestion amongst themselves. And so right away I started The Woman Left Behind, and I read all of it today. It was 5 stars. It was so good. I had such a great day. One thing I love about Kristen Ashley release days is I plan on reading all day long. So it's like my day is already set in stone. It's already set aside, as I don't have to do anything other than the bare minimum. I get to just lay around and read. Obviously I have to get kids to school. I have to feed people, all that stuff. You know, the bare minimum. But besides that, like, I'm just reading, and that's the plan. That is already what I've decided to do. My husband did get me one gift for each of my 5 years on Booktube, which I thought was pretty sweet. So that was another good thing today. But yeah, The Woman Left Behind, I just loved it. I loved it. I teared up so many times. I was so happy reading it. It's a very sweet insta-love, very just safe, communicative, happy relationship, which is great because it's against a background of a lot of tragedy. So we're following the sheriff of the small town of Misted Pines, and his wife tragically died young, and so he has just been not living since her death, and that was about 8 years ago. And he has taken over for a very corrupt sheriff. The police department was filled with just people who were bad cops in every single way, you know, using their power to extort people and to harass people that did anything that they didn't like, or that they didn't like for one reason or another, and covering up crime and doing favors and bribes and just all sorts of stuff. And so this is very much good cop versus bad cop, and obviously there's ACABs. So there's that. I already knew that's what it was. I'm not surprised. I've loved this character since the beginning of the series. Kristen Ashley is one of my, like, kind of loophole authors for cops. I just want a little problematic small town romance for a treat on a Tuesday, and that's what I got. So he's the sheriff, and they have done a full audit on the cases under the old sheriff, because it's clear that, you know, there's a lot of problems. And one of the cases that got flagged during the audit is the disappearance of her parents 16 years ago. And there's a lot going on there. There's a lot happening. Quite a bit of murder happens in this book. Multiple people get murdered, as tends to happen in these Misted Pines books. There's a lot of grief and moving on from grief, and there's, you know, a great found family. They have such a great support system. Their support system's merging as they become a couple is really delightful. Thrilled with that. So there's like a lot of very heavy tragedies and casework and corruption and you know, just stuff in the background to this very, very sweet, perfect for each other, knew it the second I saw you couple, which I'm thrilled by. So I love the balance of that. It was just so good. And it was a 5-star, which not all of the books in the series have been 5 stars, so I'm really happy that this one was. Now I have started, and unfortunately supper is going to be late because I didn't want to stop reading, Not Safe for Work by Nisha J. Tooley. This is a completely new to me author. I've never read anything by her before. This is an arc that I'm reading from NetGalley, so it comes out in May, and this is workplace rivals to lovers. He's the son of one of the CEOs, one of the executives, and she knows that she's been passed over for a lot of promotions to promote straight white men, right? So I'm really enjoying the writing. It's a bit slow burn, and obviously I don't love the themes of sexism and racism that we'll be exploring in the workplace, because obviously I do find that infuriating. However, I am very much enjoying it so far. Hello, it is the next day. I just got home from a doctor's appointment for my husband's back. We have found out that he has bulging discs and he is going to be getting some pain management for that. So hopefully the worst is behind us. That's the idea, because he has been incapacitated by this. He's feeling it a lot. It's affecting him a lot. Real quick, I wanted to give you an update. So last night, same day as The Woman Left Behind, I read all of Not Safe for Work by Nisha J. Tooley. I really liked the writing. I really liked the characters. I don't know what I said or if I said anything about this in my last update, but they are workplace rivals. He is the son of the boss, and there are big themes throughout the book about workplace sexism and racism and the things that, you know, are just prevalent in corporate America. There's also like coercion for sexual favors, for promotions and things like that. So be aware of that. But despite like some of the heavier themes that were very much present, very much explored in the book, it was still a pretty happy rom-com. I really liked their relationship. They were very antagonistic toward each other, and it was definitely one of those, like, we insult each other, that's what we do. We snipe at each other, that's what we do, and that's kind of our relationship. And they go on this work retreat. It's 3 weeks in Hawaii, so you know, if you don't want to read about tourism in Hawaii, there's that. And they end up sharing a suite, so there's only one bed. It's forced proximity, and over the course of these 3 weeks is basically where our entire book takes place. And you know, they find out a lot about each other, and she definitely finds out that he like never had it out for her or anything like that. I just really liked their banter. I liked their characters. There were some things, especially because she had a history. Her first job out of college was at an economic startup, and the owner there, one of the two owners, got in a relationship with her, and when they ended up breaking up because he had 2 girlfriends, not just one, he shared a photo of her. So he did revenge porn, and that got her blacklisted from like their whole industry, like their entire circle, and that's why she ended up taking this job. So she has that history. She has a major fear. She has trust issues, all this stuff, and then she lets the son of the boss have public sex with her at a work retreat. Obviously it was in a conference room basically, but like that's what it was. And I was like, I mean, if this is my history, there's absolutely no way that this is what's happening. None. If this is my biggest fear, if this is my biggest trauma, if this is the thing that has me skittish about everything, then this is not happening. I'm not doing this. So that felt a little odd to me, but overall I really like the book. It is a 5-star cover, and it is a 5-star book. So like, I really liked it. I would definitely read more by this author. I am interested still in their fantasy romance, even though I'm a little bit stressed about it, so I almost want to not be interested. Honestly, don't know. But then today, while I was waiting in the waiting room for x-rays, I started what is this called? I'm only like 3 chapters in. I'm really enjoying it. A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. 15 years ago, she brought her aunt and caretaker back to life and basically lost all of her magic. And she has a talking fox, she has a zombified rooster, and there's going to be a guy coming to their inn. And really enjoying it. The thing I loved about The Secret Society of Irregular Witches was the writing. I found it absolutely magical, and so far so good on this one. So honestly, it's going great. On that note, however, I am feeling completely uninspired about making videos. I'm not really feeling like there's anything I want to make, and I'm kind of thinking about taking a little break from YouTube. As a matter of fact, I'm probably skipping the video before this goes live, and then I'll just post this kind of whenever it's ready, sometime next week. And then I don't know if I'll do anything the rest of the week or the next week. I don't know. I'm just not really feeling it, which is funny because I know the introduction of this video is basically I love making videos and that's why I make videos, and all of that is true. But I am also someone who makes videos despite the numbers, truthfully, and sometimes the numbers do put me in a funk. Sometimes it's like, no one's watching this. My channel feels like it's doing worse than it ever has. And not to be dramatic, but all the time I'm like, would anybody even care if I stop making videos? And of course the answer is yes. Of course the answer is yes. And many of you have told me that the answer is yes. And I know the people that I love to watch and how much when they, don't post for a couple of weeks, I'm like, oh, I need a video. So I know that, I know all of that, right? Logically. Emotionally, sometimes it's just like, sometimes this sucks. Sometimes it sucks to not have success. At the very same time, knowing full well, I do not want to deal with the problems of being internet famous. That is for sure. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, I'm just in a funk. I feel like I got nothing. So we'll see. Hopefully I can do a brainstorm session or something and do some stuff. I also have been thinking a lot about, I know I told Steph this, but I've been thinking a lot about, getting smaller channels on my channel for reading sprints and stuff, because my discussion lives, I like to really carefully hand select the people that are going to do that. Sometimes I pick people that I was less familiar with and stuff, and I haven't always liked that. So I really want it to be people that I'm very familiar with, but that's a small pool, right? That's a small pool, and a lot of them, by necessity of me knowing who they are and being well established and me being really sure that they're a great person to talk about this topic with, that often means that their channels are not tiny, right? They've been doing this for a minute. And I would really like to give a more low pressure platform to people that I watch and they're new and they're growing, or they're smaller, or they don't even have to be smaller than me, but just give a little bit of community. I feel like for community, which is so funny if you know me in real life, because I never plan anything. I don't want to go to anything, all of that stuff. But for community, someone has to do the invite, someone has to host it, someone has to get people together. And I feel like that's something that has been really important always on my channel, and I feel like I would like to do more of that. I feel like it's fallen off a little bit, and again, I would like to be having brand new people to my channel who have never been on it before. So that's what I've been thinking. So maybe I'll do some of that while I'm in this one, and don't know what videos to do. But honestly, I do find live stressful. So we'll see. I might just take a little tiny break. Hi, it's me. I'm sick. I have what my kids have. So does my husband, because they so graciously gifted it to us. Yeah, but I did read what's it called? A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. And it was every bit as magical and delightful and poignant and sweet and thoughtful and introspective and heartwarming as The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Because I loved The Very Secret Society so much, and it was one of my favorite books of the year, and the writing was immaculate. I just felt like the writing was such a level of excellence in the way that it wove the themes and the characters and the humor together, and the plot too. There was so much more plot in that book than I had expected. I had really high expectations for this one, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to hit it, especially because it had been delayed so many times. I was just a little bit worried about it. But I can safely say that taking their time writing this book was the right call, that we got a finished product that was well worth the wait, and I am so ecstatic to have read it. It's just so good. So she, as a teenager, does a resurrection spell for her aunt, who is her guardian and caretaker, and loses her magic. And now we are 15 years later, and she's been living 15 years with broken magic. She has only a tiny bit of magic. In that time, they have accumulated a few found family members, including another older woman and a talking fox and a zombified rooster and her teenage nephew, and they are all living together at the inn, right? Oh, and also a guy in like his early 20s who, you know, is a little far off the beaten path, and he's from a very affluent family, and he, you know, is constantly at the medieval fair reenactment, and he lives his whole life like he's a knight. And so they have this found family, and into that kind of stumbles, not accidentally, but perhaps by design, a man who actually knew her very briefly when she was a teen at the Magic Guild, and his 9-year-old autistic little sister. And because his little sister is autistic, she has magic, she's a witch, but she simply cannot process that magic has to be hidden. And so she doesn't follow the rules well everywhere that she goes, and she's not very welcomed or accepted, and he adores her. And to me, he read as someone who is autistic but is able to mask really well. That's how he read to me, but I could be wrong about that. You know, so they stumble into this found family, and they are able to work together to try and get her magic back. I did not love the final resolution with the magic, I will say, but that was literally the only thing in the entire book that I didn't absolutely love. I teared up so many times because every single person here, whether they're at the inn or whether they're their friends nearby, is someone who has not been accepted for who they are, who has been made to feel like what they are is not enough, or is less than, or is too weird or too uncomfortable to be around other people. Some of that is because of physical disabilities, or because of autism, or because of their immigration status, or their magical ability, or what have you. It doesn't matter what the factor is for each person. There has been just a real lack of acceptance on their behalf. And of course, they have all found the place where they belong. They have found acceptance and love, even if they're a little bit crotchety sometimes. They have found people who love them. They have found a safe place. They have found people that care and who are happy to be around them. I will cry. And not like in spite of who they are, but because of who they are. It's beautiful. It's easily a favorite of the year, and it's just as lovely as the other book was. Now, this is not a sequel, and as a matter of fact, there's a little bit of different world building in this one, because in the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, witches die if they have a child. They die within like a year, and that is not true here. Which I liked, but like that is not the same world building at all. So I'm not exactly sure about all of that, but it was good. It was really, really good. And I think if you want a book that reads like a warm hug, if you want a book where people with all of the diversity that is part of us are welcomed and accepted and, you know, find happiness together, with a sweet romance on top of it, maybe even a couple sweet romances on top of it, this is the book you want to read when that's what you want. Hi! How y'all doing? It's the Monday after Easter. You actually might get this vlog today, I don't know, but time has come to post it, and I haven't read anything else. I am in a reading slump. I have been sick for days. And honestly, when I'm sick, I tend to be in a reading slump. I tend not to read, which is so counterproductive because all I'm doing is laying around, scrolling on my phone, watching TV, being bored out of my skull, because that's just not entertaining for too long. And I can't read. I can't find anything I want to read. I've never heard of a book I wanted to read in my entire life. none of these books sound like anything I would want to pick up. It happened. So I am in a reading slump, but because of it being my 5-year booktube anniversary last week, I do feel like this vlog is kind of time sensitive being posted, and honestly I want to be done. So I didn't get to the 5 books that I wanted to, but such is life. I read 3 fantastic books. They were so good. So why that has put me in a reading slump is beyond me, but we are here together now. So. I also want to talk real quick about how much this continues my belief that I know my reading taste so well, that I know exactly what books I'm going to like or what I'm not going to like, and why that might be. I think I have a very well-honed self-identity as a reader. Not that I'm not ever willing to try new things, but I also feel like I know which things sound appealing and which do not. Everything I ended up reading were anticipated releases, 1 on release day and 2 that were arcs that aren't even out yet for you, which I felt a little bit bad about, but you know, now you know that it's gonna be worth the hype. But like, I don't know, things that there can be sleepers, there can be surprise hits, one-hit wonders, if you will, on that linger on my TBR, but by and large, if a book is really speaking to me, I'm gonna pick it up relatively quickly, which is why there's so much turnover on my TBR. My TBR just does not linger. And the ones that do, as we are finding out with Do or Die, the ones that do aren't necessarily worth my time. So yeah, I am just even more firmly cemented in my own belief in myself and my reading taste, which I think is part of why I'm so difficult to recommend books to, because like, if you're talking about a book and I'm interested in it, I'm gonna add it to my TBR myself, and if I don't, I probably know me better. I'm really insufferable with it. I've also gotten a couple of ideas for videos I want to make, so I'm feeling a little bit more hopeful on that front. But yeah, I didn't get to do anything for Easter. I didn't get to see my sister or any of that stuff, and it all just kind of sucked a little bit, to be completely honest with you. I think later this week you might see me do a live, and then you might see me try and get my life together. But who knows? Who knows what the future holds, because this vlog certainly did not go as anticipated. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Whether you were here 5 years ago or in the last 5 days, I really appreciate you. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.